Oh yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Dervla. I'm from Dublin and I set up my business Social Exe Studio with Neve on April 1st this year.
April 1st, that's when is that when you officially launched the business?
Yeah, that is. That's when I went like full on live on Instagram and launched and yeah, started going for it.
Love it. So literally 3 months today, or like yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 months.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, amazing.
Yeah.
What a journey. So do you want to go back to the start a little bit? Tell us a little bit about like I guess your work background, career background, and why you actually wanted to start this business in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, I started off in the textile industry. I studied design. So I ended up working in New York in textile design for
Gotcha.
5 years. Yeah, it was really cool. I had like interned in London and things like that. And that was super fun and very creative. And then after COVID, I ended up working remotely in Mexico for 2021.
Mm.
Yes, so that was the first kind of taste I had to working
Yeah.
remotely and like having that freedom. So COVID for me was a blessing in a way. So I started working from home, was like super not having fun in my small Brooklyn
Of course.
apartment. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Mexico. It's much warmer and same time frame, same time zone. So then after being in Mexico for a couple of months, I went part-time with that company I had been working for. So like 3.5 days a week.
Hey.
And yeah, and then in that time I started kind of freelancing for the first time in 2021. So I got that like kind of taste of working for like multiple different people and
Yeah.
like having flexibility. Yeah. So, but it took me obviously a couple of years before I did that full time. So after COVID, I went back to Ireland and I worked for Irish companies full time in design again. Um, but I knew going into them that like I didn't want to do this again. I just wasn't sure what to do. I just was like, this is all my experience,
Yeah.
like this is how I can make money. And I just like wasn't really sure about how to like get enough freelance clients to keep me going. So then it was, I think 2022 when I started trying to do freelance, but I just didn't have kind of the support or belief system behind me to like get it going. So I was like doing a little bit of freelance, but not enough to keep me afloat. So I was still like waitressing and doing like random jobs like that as well. And then it wasn't until last year when I quit my job again. Like I quit my job multiple times and like luckily had gotten new jobs back in design, but like every time I had the challenge of the interviews being like, why did you quit? And I had to like make up some excuse. I was like, I just kind of it wasn't really a good fit for me and like all this lies basically. And I
Love
was like, I
it.
actually yeah, literally I was like, I hate full time, but I need money now. So can you
Yeah,
hire me? Like
please.
basically that was it. And I was just I'm good at interviews, so I was just like, charming them as much as I could, but like always lying. And I felt bad because these are good people, but like I just, you have to survive in this
But
world. But then
100%.
but then finally this year, last year in Ireland, I was like, I can't do this again.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing worse than like repeating the same cycle. Like I think I had repeated the same cycle like 3 times. Again, like quitting and getting back, quitting, getting back. And I was like, I need to change. Like you only have one life, and I just need to take a risk or like invest. And I had never invested in business coaching or anything like that. So I was like, I think like I need to. So I had seen Jenny, who's a friend of mine, recommending your course on her Instagram, and I was like, okay, I'm trust Jenny. I'm gonna go for it. Like she's always been a really strong entrepreneur, so I was like, I'm just gonna trust her. I didn't even really look into you too much before I hired you.
Blind
Or
judgment.
literally, I was like, well, I said, Jenny's always successful, so I'm just going to go for what she thinks. And that was kind of it. And then and your price was like, I thought like so fair. And like with the payment package that I was like, okay, I can definitely afford this. And I had saved up a couple of grand just to have a
Yeah,
cushion. Because I knew like you can't just go into it and expect it all to happen. It was really only like this month when I felt like very comfortable like financially
yeah,
now. Like so I had saved up to before jumping
yeah.
off the cliff, quit my job, and then the day I quit my job, I started with you.
Oh, the same day. Oh,
Pretty much, yeah. Like it was like the Friday. It was like I think I had technically signed on the Friday, and then the
yeah.
Monday I started, and the Friday was my last day.
Okay, so it was
So
like fast.
yeah, I was like, okay, I have to change. Let's go.
Okay, what an intro. It's it's funny because it's actually very similar like to my story about like because I got a taste of remote work by working in America on like an internship visa, and I was like, if I can do this, and I was going to all the, like Santa Barbara holidays, and like my friends had to take annual leave, and I would just be like working a bit. I'm like, okay, that definitely like planted the seed of like what's possible. So it's interesting you say that. And I also did like came home to Dublin, got a job, worked, quit, went traveling, came back home, rinse and repeat, like
Yeah.
multiple times. So I
Yeah.
definitely resonate with that. And then in terms of, I guess, your background, how have you found that's become like useful and transferable into the actual, running of the business and the client work that you're doing day to day now?
Yeah, so basically I had obviously always had like a visual eye, so I knew how to make things look good. Like I loved art as a kid, that's why I studied design. And then you just get trained so well. Like the more you design, the more you just like understand how things look good. And I think that it can apply to multiple things. Like obviously I don't know how to like do architecture, but I could tell you like how something could look good. And I think that could
Mhm.
apply to like content or fashion or home or graphics. Like so I had already started like jumping into the graphic design world and doing graphics for like restaurants and like some content and stuff before. I
Sadly.
had accidentally, yeah, exactly. So I had already kind of developed that. And I looked to people that I loved their work and I was like, what are they doing? And I just looked for a lot of inspiration and not like copied, but like found a lot of inspiration in what people were
Yeah.
doing and then I brought that into my world. Um, and so like it was kind of the when I started doing social media and content creation, it was by accident. I was working in a product development freelance role for like an equestrian brand, and then
Oh,
I saw their social media, and I was like, "Oh, your socials are a bit, maybe
oh
they could have
great.
some help." Yeah, because like I thought her brand was great, but I was like, I feel like it's just not concise, and I'm
Yeah.
also like quite, yeah, like I'm quite OCD as well, so I like everything to look a certain way and like be perfect and nice. And I personally just love making reels. Like I love making things look good,
Yeah.
and I love bringing music in and bringing emotion into that. So that background of me like having the visual eye and then wanting things to look a certain way, and then I've always been kind of like a good conversationer, so like I could talk well, I could write poetry, I've presented shows before, so I've always been good with words. And I think that, and then like having an emotional intelligence is kind of what marketing is. So it's like merging all of those together is like make it look good, make someone feel something, and then like communicate clearly. So I feel like
Yeah.
just like my talents and my past interests all kind of merge into like being someone who can market things. And I only really work now with people that I truly believe in their message. So like I am genuinely sharing their stuff and I
Yeah.
care about it and like I do find it interesting. So I feel like I couldn't do that for anyone. It would
Yeah.
have to be something I'm actually like, I really do believe in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like, you didn't have like a direct background in what you're doing now, but like you said, it's like all the pieces of the puzzle were like building into you being this online business owner. And I think what's great about this industry is like you didn't just say, okay, I could become a virtual assistant and maybe I could do like a bit of admin and a bit of social media. You really made it broader,
Hmm.
and made it into, like marketing, creativity, the kind of like online business manager, a little bit of online business advisor, a little bit of everything. And that's why I love that this is an entry point into like, putting yourself out there. And you very quickly went down the more creative route, like with your business.
Yeah, I did. Like it was cool entering like as a VA because it's kind of like, wow, that's so
Yeah.
broad and like I don't know what I'm gonna do. But you might as well try everything, and then like all the skills you have in your modules are like extremely useful. So you can really teach yourself if you need to. But I kind of not accidentally, but I just ended up in this position of like being able to advise people because I had so much like I've been working since I was 14, so I had
Yeah.
just picked up so much stuff like over the years. Like, like if you wrote down all my jobs, someone asked me the other day how many jobs have I had, and I was like, I don't know, like 50. Like I've had so many, and I've definitely like just learned.
We lost your sound there. It's still muted. If you can hear me. Hey, you're back. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
sorry. I had like a time limit on my Instagram. Sorry.
Don't worry, you're
So
back.
Basically what I was saying was I just have had so many different jobs and learned so much working with like entrepreneurs and small business owners that it then became me giving advice to other small business owners. Like now, some of my people, like some of my clients, don't want me to do any content. They just want me to like understand the like analytics in the
Yeah.
back end and give them advice and stuff. Or like they're like, how could I phrase this? Or like, here's an offer I want to do. Like, how could I put that out into the world? And I'll just think like, okay, well, people could see it from this angle or this angle, and I just help them come up with strategy as well. So some of them are just really good creatively, and then some of them want some help with the graphic side, and some of them want me to just do reels and just do content. And so it's very varied as well.
I love that. And I think that's a good point, like for anyone, if anyone's watching that is thinking of hiring someone to help them with social media or marketing, is that like you can outsource elements of it. Like if you love to create yourself, like you can get someone like you to come in and just help like strategize and like help plan out what a launch looks like, a new product or service launching in 3 months' time. What does that look like now? What does it look like next month? And I think that's where some people can get like a bit like afraid that if they're going to hire social media support, that they have to give over so much kind of control. But you can definitely, I really like how you're doing elements of it with clients so that like, they're still having the creative control, but you're like supporting them with this strategizing as well as the actual doing for other clients.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like a growing period because I knew like for the first few weeks with like a couple of my clients, like I was so on the business side of things and not doing content. And then they decided to change, like, okay, this month I actually want to take back the business and I want you to just
Yeah.
do content. And like you can be flexible and like, the good thing is like, if you enter a 3 month retainer, it's not like, okay, I need results now. It's like you're growing, you're agreeing to grow together
Yeah.
and like find each other's strengths and stuff. So it's cool to be flexible in that sense that it's not like a set
Yeah.
role, like this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just grow together and look at the business goals. And I like to look at everyone's business goals because then I can hold them accountable. A lot of them want me to hold them accountable with just like a check-in every day, like, are you doing what you said you were going to
Yeah.
do as well?
Amazing. I feel like that's something that like as you have business growth, that's something that's like so valuable. And I guess on that note, what kind of businesses are you supporting? Like what kind of industries are those businesses in that your clients are in?
Yeah, pretty vast, pretty wide range, but like overall, I would say besides one or two, it's pretty much in the wellness
Okay,
industry,
cool.
which was yeah, like it is cool. So I work with a business coach and a fashion designer, and then besides that, there's like beauty, mindfulness, meditation, astrology, yoga, and oracle readings.
Cool.
So yeah, it is really cool, and they all quite lend to each other because they're all kind of thinking of the same thing. Like they're there to like serve, the public. They're there to like help people. So they all have like really similar mindsets, which is quite nice. And then yeah, when it comes to like fashion and business, like there are two things that I'm really interested
For
in. Like
sure.
I studied fashion, I studied textiles, so it's like I'm really enthusiastic about them as well. But the other ones, they just kind of a lot of them reached out to me or I happened to find them that they ended up like kind of being in the same industry, which is really cool because I am like interested in those things
Yeah.
as well. I practice a lot. So it's perfect. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, so cool. Like talk about like dream
yeah.
clients when it's like industries you're in, you're not working for like, a local kind of pharma company that you're not interested in or, which is I feel like when you have like a lot of times you can end up in random like office-based roles that you're just working for like a random cause, a random company, and instead of like working for a cause that you're personally interested in.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually have one more that I forgot, and it's food, and it's like a new company that's launching like a food delivery service, but it's like artisanal food, like
Love it.
really gorgeous, like kind of homemade food. So that's a bit on the more random side, but like I've worked in restaurants for so long that I still do care about like good
Yeah.
food and stuff, and I can really relate to it. And I've done work for graphics in for restaurants before, so yeah, it's been really interesting.
So good. And
Yeah.
on that note, where have you found all of those clients? Because obviously, when you started out 3 months ago, launch your business, like you had no social media presence or nowhere to advertise your skills and services.
Yeah, so it's been really random, I would say. Um, so I would say I found them through word of mouth.
Yeah.
And one I actually like my first one that I got myself was I went into a salon and was like, "You need help on your social media." Like she did my nails, so I said, "Like, would you like some help?" And she said, "Yeah." And so that was very just like putting myself out there, kind of
Yeah,
rejection therapy.
approaching her. Yeah,
Yeah, I just said, hey, look, like I see your socials. I think your studio is gorgeous, but you haven't got anything on your socials. Like, would you like me to help you with that? And then she said, yeah, we did an exchange at the start, and then it went into like a payment plan or a payment, yeah, just a contract. So it
so
was cool
cool.
to kind of practice on her.
Yeah.
And then the other ones were, one was like word of mouth. Like a friend was like, "Is this something you do?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Um, One, yeah, like Instagram. One was LinkedIn, but again, it was me reaching out. One of my clients basically said they wanted an intern, and I said I emailed them just being like, "Hey, look, I know you're looking for an intern, but I really think like if you want to grow, you might want to think about hiring someone professionally." And I sent her my packages, and then she was like, "Yeah, you're actually right." So she hired me.
Amazing. And was that like
So
someone cold or someone that you knew previously?
cold, totally cold. I said I found her on
Amazing.
LinkedIn. Yeah. So I just saw her post on LinkedIn and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna email her and see. And then okay, so oh yeah, again, so Instagram was pretty much a one, and yeah, a friend and word of mouth. So I'd say like LinkedIn, Instagram, word of mouth, and then like
Yeah.
cold calling,
Yeah.
like going straight
A
in.
mix.
A mix, definitely a
Yeah.
mix. Yeah.
And that just goes to show like that there are opportunities out there when you go looking for them. And I think you were a really good example of like, I remember you said you were spending like, 3, 4 hours a day on like lead generation, nurturing
Yeah.
leads, like following up, sending proposals, all the stuff.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because dude, it's just such a roller coaster when you start. But it really is. You're like, I just don't know what to
Yeah.
do. But like, I started like I was obviously going through your course, and then I started like I was thinking, hey, like who are like the masterminds in marketing? And then I started just like YouTubing like what are, like the strongest marketers, like who are people like watching, like who is getting the most views and who has clients and stuff. And then I was just like watching this marketing video. This guy Alex, he's like a big YouTube creator, and he was like, if you're not like doing outreach for 4 hours a day, you're not growing your business. And I was like, okay, that's such a like hard masculine like sell kind of mentality. But I was like, I'll just try
Yeah.
it. Like, why not? And I did try it, and it obviously worked. So, yeah. And I don't think you have to do that forever, but I think
It's short
like
term.
starting out, yeah. And then also, it's kind of easy because it's like I know it's not easy, but it's easy because essentially you're copy and pasting a message, personalizing it. But like you're talking to people you don't even know, so it doesn't matter if they say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's harder to reach out to people you know and they say no, but these are just people you've never met before. So it's like you could be talking to
Yeah.
anyone, like, and they say yes, they say no. It's like fine, just move on to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is such a good lesson of like, actually one of the girls that's in the program at the moment made a reel about it today. Like, if you don't put yourself out there and you don't ask, like the answer is always no. And
Mm.
if you ask, there are some yeses in there. And what you mentioned about like rejection therapy, the quicker you can get rid of, or you can get used to being rejected in business, like the more success that you'll get because it's just part of it.
It really is. And it's funny because it just reminded me of like one of the first jobs I had after I did my leaving cert, which was door to door sales.
Brutal.
And and it was honestly so funny that I even started because it was just I went into this like sales job. It was just like like nine girls and guys, in their early 20s, and we would just drive out to the country somewhere and knock on 100 doors. And basically they were like knock on 100, get 25 answers, and talk to three people, hopefully make one sale. And then so you would get rejected all day, but I used to make like 6 sales, 9 sales,
Oh,
12 sales a day, and it was like €30 a sale. So I was like, oh my God, I
also,
love this. Yeah, it was so great. And so I was just like, I started getting like addicted to
yeah.
that sale. And like every time they said no, I would just like, Grant, no worries, run
Next one.
off and knock on the next door. Yeah, yeah. And so that definitely built up thick
Yeah.
skin as well. But
I bet there's nothing like those jobs like when you're young and you're like scrambling for money that will
yeah.
like teach you resilience. Like,
Literally, yeah, 18, no care in the world. I was just like, wear a pretty dress, knock on a
yeah.
door. You know what I mean? That
Not
was it.
honestly, you got to do, and I think that's a good mentality. And honestly, I think that as well, what you said there, that kind of like masculine approach is like do this 4 hours and you'll succeed and you'll grow. So there's some elements of that kind of like masculine way of succeeding in business that is correct and that is the way to do it in the early days. It's like that grind isn't forever, but it is for a short term. And like you did grind and you did put in the hours, and you're only in a position that you're in now because you just literally stuck with it and kept grinding and kept getting no's and just like kept that mentality of keeping going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think like at the time it's hard because you can't see the future. So you're kind of like, whoa, like this is kind of a lot. You know, there was definitely moments where I was like, I'm feeling really burnt out. Like I'm not sure if I can do this. I don't know if I
Yeah,
want to do this and stuff. And then like obviously having someone like you or any sort of support by your side is so crucial in those moments, in those first 12 weeks, like your program is 12 weeks, like those weeks are just so important to have someone holding you accountable because I'm so sure, like, if I didn't have you, that I would have just quit because I tried to like set up a business before, like, kind
yeah,
of like half-arsed it. But having the accountability was absolutely everything for me. Yeah, because like I think, yeah, I just wouldn't have kept it up. It was hard, and then like just just feelings of doubt, self-doubt, so normal.
yeah.
Um, but now that I've done so much, like I had someone reach out to me the other day being like, I saw your Facebook post 3 months ago and I'm wondering, are you still offering that? And I was just like, wow, I think I told you before I posted in 100 Facebook groups one day and no one got back to me.
Yeah, I remember because you were like, okay, Neve, like I've done a lot of the things, and this was early on, and you were like, and I have zero inquiries, I have no discovery calls, no clients yet, and I remember you were like, I don't really think it's working, like this, what I'm doing, and like that was just like a day, and I think we were just like, you'll be grand, we'll get back onto it tomorrow, and you did, and like I think it's that it's just like being okay if you have a wobble, and like just getting back up the next day and doing it, and I think that that's the thing is like with the accountability, like you have really had all the skills. You didn't really need to upskill, with your specific circumstances. It wasn't really that. It was more just like, and I think it's what most people need, whether it's a mentor or whether it's a friend who's an entrepreneur, whatever it is just like a cheerleader that's like, okay, this happened. We park it and we move on. We sell it or we celebrate it, depending if it's good or bad news. And just having that kind of resilience that like, all right, it'll be fine. Tomorrow's a new day.
Absolutely. And then like understanding that like just because you're ready doesn't mean your client's ready. Like everybody's at a different pace. Like they can see they're not going to just jump on your post. Like people need to digest. Like they're also investing in you. So they have to think and like, does she have any, testimonials? Does she have any experience? Like people aren't going to
Yeah.
just jump. So you just have to be patient and know that like people will come back to you. But it is hard to know that obviously in the
Yes.
moment, like you're trusting you're trusting your testimonials and yeah, you do have to trust yourself. And it's funny you say cheerleader though, because like that's how I kind of feel like I am now for my clients. Like I'm holding them accountable. Like I wouldn't call myself a mentor or a coach, but like I definitely
Yeah.
cheer them on and I definitely like encourage them a lot. And that's something that I've always done just as a friend anyway. Like I love to
Yeah.
just be like, you're doing amazing. Like, oh my God, unreal. Let's keep going. So that's kind of what I do now. And yeah, you have to remember to do it for
Yeah.
yourself.
Exactly. And with that in mind, what does the future of your business look like? Do you have any, 2025 goals for the business? Any services that you're going to be really like honing in on over the next few months?
Yeah, so it's like I haven't made a huge decision on that yet, but where I am now is like I'm in a really good place in terms of like the clients I have and I love them. And I basically decided like I hit my goals financially June, like halfway or the start of June, which was great. Yeah, really,
So
really good. And
exciting.
I was like, it was like there was like the amount of money I can live on in Mexico. Obviously, I didn't say, but I moved to Mexico while it's happening. But live on in Mexico, have a bit of savings, and like feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was kind of once I had hit that goal, I was like, oh, will I make a new goal now? But I was like, oh, I actually think I just want to like sit in this space for a minute
Yeah.
and like nurture my clients and like make sure I'm holding those because I don't want to have 12 clients, like I'd rather have a
Sure.
smaller amount with more hours. So
Yeah.
at this point, I'm kind of like, at least the next 3 months, like probably not going to take on anymore, like depending on who comes my way, but I'm not going to be like reaching
Yeah.
out like I was before. Like I love who I have. I want to make sure that I'm okay and that they're okay
Yeah.
because even though like, okay, got the clients grand, making the money, but it's like, such a new space to be in because when you work for someone for so long, you can just sit back some days and be like, oh, man, I'm
Do
not going to really
nothing.
do much work.
I
Yeah,
know.
but like when it's you have to wake up every day and you have to get on the phone and like you have to show up because they've paid you and they've
Yeah.
trusted you and like,
Yeah.
you have to trust yourself. And so essentially, I'm not looking to like grow right now
Yeah.
necessarily. I'm like looking to like really like put my roots in the ground and make sure everything's like
Yeah.
strong and sustainable. So like my goal for the next 3 months is to like be really sustainable and strong. And then I think I was thinking like maybe end of September or like October is when I'm gonna think more about like where will I be there at that point, like to kind
Yeah.
of grow it into the next step. But at this point, I'm like, because it's a lot to digest. Everything has happened
Very
very
fast.
fast, and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for it. But I don't want to run ahead of myself, go ahead of myself, and start working like 60 hours and like not enjoy my life and
Of
be
course.
stressed all the time because it's tiring. And while I'm still learning and getting used to it, like I feel tired,
Yeah.
so I need more time to like rest. So yeah, that's kind of it. Like I'm gonna just like sustain for a while.
It's honestly, that is like part and parcel of business. There's like, I feel like there's growth periods and there's maintenance period where you're just investing into like your skill, your upskilling and keeping your clients happy, because that itself is like a lead generator for your future. Like you making sure you are the best possible, support to your clients means they will keep you on, they will work with you for, a long time, and they'll recommend you to people. And I think that's
Hmm.
like a really important like realization when you do land clients, is instead of like chasing the next one, is to like invest into them, because it's obviously easier to keep, your existing clients who you already are really enjoying working with. You're already invested into them, into like knowing their processes, like how their business works. It's also just more fun to work with people who you've like built nice relationships with, and continue that.
Absolutely, like because the first couple of weeks, like there's so much like there's so many cracks to fill. You know what I mean? Like you really do have to get to know these people. Like everybody is so different. Their communication style, like
Yeah,
their aesthetic on Instagram, like their voice, everything is so different that like learning again, like it does take time and energy. So, and as you said, like I absolutely enjoy the people I'm working with now, and I'd much rather like sustain them and like double their hours than like take
100%.
on another. So yeah, I definitely want to keep them and yeah, just hold on to them for years,
Yeah.
hopefully, and grow with them.
Exciting. And also, let's just circle back a little bit. So you moved to Mexico like midway through starting the business. How has that been, like living in Mexico, running your business? Are your clients in Mexico time zone? Like, how is that working out from a logistics standpoint, and also just from a personal life standpoint?
Yeah. So yes, moved to Mexico May 1st, so a month after I launched.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was such a roller coaster, honestly. I can't even summarize it, but like it's my clients are mostly in right now, they're in Ireland and they're in America.
Okay.
So both of those time frames I can kind of work with. Like I basically wake up at like 7 and I start working at 8 or 9 my time, which is like 3 p.m. in Ireland's time,
Yeah.
which is grand as long as you're just like communicating with your clients. Like I won't be online till this
Yeah.
time, and I have a check-in call with them every Monday or Tuesday, and they can book in and they know like when I'm available. And a lot of the clients I work with, because of the industries they're in, like that's fine with
Yeah.
them. Like they don't need me to be online, and they get their work done in the morning, and then we check in, and
For
it
sure.
doesn't really matter. You don't need to be like online at the same time necessarily because you're doing like
Yeah.
project work behind the scenes. Um, yeah, so and some of them basically work 9 to 5, so they're not free until 7 p.m., which is 1 p.m. my time.
Perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, it works out really well. And then my American people, like they're fine as well. I can work with
Yeah.
them like in the evening, and it's grand because it's the same time. Um, so yeah, like it's just with technology, it's very easy to communicate over WhatsApp,
Yeah.
Zoom, Calendly, all these things. So I don't find it an issue, the time frame at all. And then I have one client in Mexico, in Tulum where I live, which I'm really happy about because it's so nice to have that like
Yeah.
in person as well, and it's food, so I get to like eat their food,
Fun.
which is great.
So fun.
So fun. So that's good. And I think honestly, if I didn't have the business, I would have felt a bit like probably a bit lost when I
Yeah.
got here, because just finding your feet is like a lot, like making new friends. And like I had my apartment sorted, which was great, but like, just finding your routine, like, and if I didn't have something like to anchor me daily, like I probably would have just been like all over the place. So
Yeah.
at least I knew, like I came in, I booked, I found my co-working space, and that Monday I was in doing the work, like,
Okay.
and then straight away, and like building as I said. And then in the evenings I was kind of like looking around like, oh, where do I go now, like, you know what I mean? So it was great to have the work to keep me going and kind of anchor me, and then everything else just kind of filled in around that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how is it like, I guess, from anyone who hasn't been to Mexico, like what's the lifestyle like? Like, what's it like? Is there a big nomad scene in Tulum?
Yeah, Tulum is a lot of nomads, like a lot, a lot, a lot. So loads of people are doing co-working. Everybody's like kind of crypto stock.
Yeah, love it.
They're all very like hippie, kind of a spiritual, and like I don't know, do they ever work? There seems to be a party every night.
Yeah.
It's funny, like they're like, "Are you going to that party on Monday?" And I'm like, "No."
I'm
I'm like, I'm
like,
gonna be in
no.
bed. Literally, they're like Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, the biggest parties here, and I'm just so confused. But yeah, no, so it's beautiful weather all the time. They have rainy season, of course, but it's tropical,
Yeah.
like you're basically in the jungle. There's bugs everywhere at all times. You have to get comfortable
Yeah.
with sweating. There's lots of salsa, there's lots of tacos. So it's really nice. It's definitely more relaxed. Because it's so hot, like people are kind of a bit more chill
Yeah.
and like slow pace. Everyone just gets on their moto and zooms around. The town's really small. There's the beaches close by. There's cenotes, which are like underground, underwater pools. And yeah, so it's a very like kind of nature, easygoing life. There's definitely a party side, and then there's like a sober, spiritual yoga side.
Yeah.
So I'm more on that side, and it's very fun because there's a lot of
Yeah.
like-minded people where I live.
Love that. I'm actually thinking, I think we were in Mexico in 2021 because it was open,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Back in,
yeah, it
yeah.
was. It
We were
very much
like
was.
scouring anywhere in the world that was warm and open, and ended
Yeah.
up in Mexico for like 4 months. We only went to Tulum for a couple of weeks. No, maybe only like 2 weeks, and then part of it was on a holiday with some friends just who flew in from the US. So I feel like we had a different experience of it. But yeah, I can definitely see the appeal of like the time zone, the tropical weather, and just the kind of slower pace of life is definitely a nice aspect of it.
100%. Because I feel like I lived in cities for so long, like Dublin and then
Yeah,
in New York, and it was just like bam, bam, bam. And I
hectic.
think like in my 20s, I loved that. Yeah, I was like always like, yeah, work, hustle, hustle. And then like when I came here after living in New York for 6 years, I was like, hold on a second. Like I just became more creative. I was like writing poetry, writing music, like doing live music shows and drawing and doing so much. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this part of my
All
brain
of
because
it.
I'd been like working so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So once I had that taste, and now that I'm in my 30s, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just like chill and like sit down for a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
while starting a
100%.
business. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not chilling too
Mhm.
much because you're still, I can see you're still working hard behind the
Yeah.
scenes. But yeah, very, very interesting story, and I think it's just for anyone watching, it is a very good example of, what you can achieve in a couple of months, with a lot of time on your hands and with working really hard and with putting yourself out there, getting used to rejection and just going looking for those clients. I think that's like my biggest takeaway from this is that you went hunting for those clients and, tried all bases and ended up with lots of clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, it really is a numbers game. So it's like I'm telling you now, if anyone went out and like like did 500 outreaches, they would 1000% have clients. Like it's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's not like magic or anything. It's just like go and be consistent, and that's it. It's very simple.
Yeah. And on that note, what would your piece of advice be for someone who's in the either wanting to start a business or in the early days of starting their virtual assistant business?
The biggest advice would be, well, no, it's absolutely, you're not an exception. It is possible for you. Like, so you're not an exception. And I think get someone to hold you accountable. Like, I think like hire Neve, obviously I would say that. Like go into Neve's program. But like if it's not Neve, like again, I think getting someone to hold you accountable professionally because your friends you can kind of like push off, your family you can
Yeah.
push off. But if you pay someone to hold you accountable, that's their job and they're going to show up and do it for you. So I would say you're not an exception. It can happen for you. Get someone to hold you accountable and just be consistent for like 12 weeks. It's really not that long, and you absolutely 1000% will see results. It's not magic, it's just a formula. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would say.
Love that. Well, that is, yeah, lovely advice. And I agree that it's like fitness, like anything. If you put your money there, you're going to go to those fitness classes. You're going to make sure that you're eating well or whatever so that you're not wasting your money. And I think it, it's just how the brain is wired when you like commit to something and pay someone, whether it is me or someone else. It is just means that you actually like show up for yourself and do the thing that you kind of have promised that you will. Um, and I guess as well, just to on the back of that, if someone is, I know you said you're like potentially not taking on clients, but I guess if someone wants to get in touch about working together with yourself in the future, what's the best place to contact you?
Yeah, well, they can just DM me. They can just DM me. That's fine. And or on Facebook, it's just Derv at socialexstudio.com. Well, you can see all my info
I'll
in my
tag
Instagram
this.
bio. Yeah, perfect. So like you can DM me and like if the right person came along and we
Yeah.
spoke and I felt like it was aligned, I would take them on. But yeah, I'm so happy to talk to anyone. I'm I like to give advice and talk. So yeah, anyone can reach out, whether it's about working or anything else.
And I think, guys, is your TikTok handle the same as this? Can you
Exact
post?
same.
You post some good stuff on TikTok. I saw some of your stuff recently and I was laughing along because it was just like so accurate. It's just like funny takes on things that are like so true. So yeah, go follow her on TikTok as well because you post some bangers over there and
Thanks.
you're very good at video content. So it's enjoyable to watch, but then you're smart about it because you're also subtly selling in the video content. So you're like hooked in and then you're like, oh, I see what you're doing here. It's perfect.
Learn from the best,
Yeah.
learn from me.
Subtle selling, yeah, it's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
I love
Okay,
it.
thank you so much, Derv. It was such a pleasure to catch up and hear all about your business journey. And yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Neve. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.